بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon for everyone. Today I have another video. Today I'm going to be testing Chatgpt questions about Islam. I found a video on YouTube. One of the J whatever the her name was, I forgot. That lady, she was asking Chatgpt about Islam, and ChatGPT was answering. I'm trying to confirm if all that's correct. Let's see the questions she asked. I'm just gonna ask in a different way and see what ChatGPT give me answers for. Okay, let's get to it. Excuse me. Hello, ChatGPT. Does Islam oppress women?
It seems like you mentioned flam oppressed woman. Could you clarify what you mean by that? I'm not familiar with that specific term or acronym, so I'd love to understand better.
I said, does Islam oppress women?
I see you believe Islam oppresses women. This is a topic that can be understood differently depending on perspectives and experiences. While some argue that certain interpretations of Islam or cultural practices in some Muslim majority societies are oppressive to women, others argue that Islam, when practiced as intended, grants women many rights and promotes dignity and respect. It's important to distinguish between religion and culture, as some restrictions on women in specific regions may be more cultural than religious. For instance, Islam grants women the right to work, own property, and receive an education, but these rights may not always be upheld in certain cultural contexts. Would you like to discuss specific examples or aspects of this? It's a complex and important conversation.
I just want to know if Islam oppresses women.
Islam, in its teachings, does not seek to oppress women. The religion, as outlined in the Quran and the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, grants women many rights, including the right to inherit, own property, seek education, and work. It emphasizes spiritual equality between men and women. However, in some cultures or societies, certain practices may seem restrictive or oppressive, but these are often rooted in local traditions, not the religion itself. The distinction between cultural norms and religious principles is key to understanding this debate. Are you thinking of any particular practices that seem oppressive to you?
I just want to ask you another question. Is Islam
Of course. What's your next question?
Is Islam violent religion?
Islam is not inherently a violent religion. Its core teachings emphasize peace, compassion, and justice. The word Islam itself comes from the root word salam, which means peace. The Quran contains numerous verses encouraging peace, forgiveness, and kindness to others. However, like any religion, certain verses have been interpreted in different ways, and some groups or individuals have used religion to justify violence. It's important to differentiate between the actions of certain extremists and the teachings of the religion itself, which overwhelmingly promote harmony and peaceful coexistence. Would you like to explore any specific parts of this topic?
I have another question. Is
Go ahead.
Islam
What's your next question?
is women inherit in Islam?
Yes, women have the right to inherit in Islam. The Quran specifically grants women the right to inherit property, which was a progressive step at the time of its revelation. However, the share a woman receives is often different from a man's, typically half of what a man in the same family position would inherit. For example, if a man and a woman are siblings, the man would inherit twice the amount of his sister. This difference is based on the traditional responsibility placed on men to provide financially for the family, while a woman's wealth is her own, without obligation to spend it on others. Does that answer your question? Or would you
Yes.
like more details?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, when it comes to inheritance, yes, men are obligated to provide everything for their wives. Let's say, for example, if my sister and I shared inheritance like 100, and she gets what I got, she goes to a different family. So she will get everything from her husband. But for me, I have to provide for my wife that I'm going to get married. So that's why Islam, to be fair, because man is responsible for everything, so the woman gets half of what man gets, if that makes sense to some people. But most people, they don't seem to be understand everything, and they twist, they want to make things really ugly to justify their, whatever they believe. Yeah, Islam is not a violent religion. It's not, it doesn't oppress women. Women, they dress the way they dress because they're Muslims. It's like back home when students go into school, they dress with the uniform that identifies them that they are a student, so they can be protected. Since I don't see in this country, but back home, they're all dressed in a uniform recognized by government, by police officers, everybody. So a student is a student. So if they don't wear that uniform, nobody will recognize them as a students. So a Muslim woman should be dressed modesty, so they will be known as a Muslim woman, and they will be protected from being attracted to every man. That's the purpose. That's the religious, not men telling them. Do you think a man will tell a woman to cover? Do you? I don't think nobody will take this. Man will like, all of us will like. Man will like to see, not to cover them. Yeah. If you believe really men want women to be covered, uh, rethink again. You know. So yeah, ChatGPT. I asked questions and the questions was answered correctly because I thought some of the YouTube stuff that you see on YouTube, when you ask questions, some people may think that's not true. So I was just trying to clarify and ask ChatGPT my own, and I get the answers. So, like, if I ask right now another question, let me ask another question. So we'll get the answers. So every question you ask ChatGPT will answer correctly. So I'm gonna ask, hey ChatGPT, does Islam promote violence?
It seems like you might have used an acronym or a code. Could you clarify what HHEDB means? I'd be happy to help once I understand better.
Does Islam promote violence?
Islam at its core does not promote violence. The teachings of the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad focus on peace, compassion, and justice. The word Islam itself is derived from salam, meaning peace. The Quran contains many verses that call for peaceful behavior, mercy, and forgiveness. However, like many religious texts, some verses in the Quran have been interpreted in ways that might seem to condone violence, particularly in the context of self-defense or during war. These verses are often misused by extremists to justify acts of violence, but such interpretations go against the broader teachings of Islam, which prioritize peace and coexistence. It's important to differentiate between the actions of individuals or groups and the religion itself. Most Muslims around the world practice their faith in a peaceful manner. Would you like to discuss any specific aspects further?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions or need further information, feel free to ask.
So as you see, people use name of religion to gain followers so they can create problems around the world using a Muslim or Islam religion. There is nothing like that. Islam never tells anyone to fight for no reason. In self-defense, yes. But just go there because people are not Muslims, force them to be a Muslim. Just go, it's not going to. Islam never say that. You will not find a word like that, ever. So, brothers and sisters, I was just trying to share this experience, and I get the questions I need really answered very good. But sometimes it was an issue when I ask questions because I say Chatgpt, whatever, Chatbtg or whatever. I was pronouncing that terribly, so she would say like, "Hey, what do you mean? I shouldn't be saying even ChatGPT. I just say just hey and ask a question." I think that's what it is. I just have to get to my questions. So, brothers and sisters, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.